Hello and welcome to the collapse experiment. This is one heck of a day and going to take advantage of it. Why I am not a romantic. This is a ongoing theme I've come across, not necessarily that topic in particular, but guys just not willing to do the whole courting thing anymore. Dating, we're not dating. There's no gentlemanly behavior happening these days. Everything's been put to a stop. So, I used to be the type of guy who thought that women were looking for the nice guy, the gentleman, the one who brings them flowers, all the sweet things that they always bitch and complain about while they're with their asshole that they refuse to leave. So in high school, my 2-year girlfriend that I was with back then, once a week, when I got paid from Meijer, I would go to the flower section where I worked, and I would pick out the best rose or batch of roses, and I would take them to her, and her mom would put them in a vase, and that was my romantic gesture towards her. Well, if you've seen previous videos, you know how that relationship turned out. So I was like, well, not doing that again. And I know some people will say like, well, maybe that was just her and it wasn't her thing, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be the next girl's thing. And I'm like, started doing the math, and I was like, how much did I spend on flowers for someone that, I don't know, appreciated? I think her mom appreciated them more than she did. Her mom wasn't too happy when she broke up with me. Then there was the happy wife, happy life. Bullshit. Happy wife does not lead to a happy life. It leads to more misery and worse expectations upon you. Well, if he can accomplish that, then he can accomplish this. And the list and the demands just keep getting bigger and harder to accomplish, to the point where the relationship doesn't last. If you are consistently trying to make somebody else happy, first lesson that you should learn, you're not responsible for somebody else's happiness. That is their shit to deal with. You're the one who's paying the bills, who's keeping a roof over your heads, who's doing all the things. Because at least in my situation, I could not rely upon her income to pay the bills, or even help to pay the bills, even when she had a steady job. And the one time I asked her for help, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of short on this stuff. She threw a fit and said, that's my money. I don't understand why you can't pay this. And I'm like, I haven't gotten a raise in 4 years and shit's more expensive. Do the math. Did I see a penny from my partner, my wife, in helping to pay our bills? Abso-fucking-lutely not. So the whole happy wife, happy life thing, nope, not doing that shit again. You want to learn how ungrateful somebody is? Try living your life to where you're trying to make someone happy. Because if they're not already happy being with you, they're not going to be happy. Move on. Let them go be with whatever type of asshole that they're normally used to being with beforehand. Because if they're putting demands on you, they're not going to be happy with you. You are not the person they are looking for. And in reality, a lot of these chicks are not looking for anybody in particular. They're just looking for that guy at the time to suck off of and leech off of. Is that a better way to put it? They're doing that too. They're probably doing that to somebody else behind your back. In all reality, let's be honest here. Then there was the girl that I was with for over 3 years, and she's the one I bought jewelry for, because I was like, maybe there needs to be the sign of like financial security, which I had, because I was living by myself and I was responsible with money, except for buying jewelry for somebody who obviously did not appreciate it, because they also ended up cheating on me and leaving with some guy that looked like Shrek. So I'm just not surprised. Did I get any of that back? No, of course not. And even when she started doing the whole pushing away thing, hardly ever hearing from her, wondering what the hell's going on, and she would pop in saying, oh, I'm just really busy, nothing's happening, I'm just trying to get my house ready to sell, blah blah blah. No, she was banging somebody else. Don't be the understanding guy, the one who's just like, maybe she just needs her distance. No, she has shitty communication because she doesn't know how to tell you it's over, because they don't want to be the bad person. They can't be the person who breaks up the relationship, because then they're the bad guy. They're the one who did something wrong. And it's all about image. Chicks who are all about image, forget that. If they can't get their ass out of the door on time because they don't have their look on yet, forget it. It's not about you. They're not presenting themselves for you. They're presenting themselves for future possible people that they might be with, is what they're doing. And that was how one of my exes was. We would have some place that we were supposed to be at a certain time. Meanwhile, she's still upstairs doing her makeup, and it's like, I don't care how you look. Like, brush your hair and do some, like, I don't understand why it takes an hour to try to present yourself in a way that you aren't. I realize guys are totally different, but when women are doing this, it's not for you. Now, if you come home and they're all dialed up, that's for you, okay? That makeup's gonna get real messy real soon, right? I mean, that's the whole point of it. If you're going out and they're doing that, and it's obviously not for you, red flags. Because that is, you're going out, but she's shopping. I'm trying to look good for you. You're pissing me off, because now that movie we're supposed to go to, we're not going to. We might as well just stay home and, like, don't even get dressed. You just want me for what? You don't enjoy it? Okay. There's one guy on YouTube, I think he might be on to something, where he was saying that women don't really enjoy sex, that it's just a tool that they use to get the guy or the thing or status that they want. They know it's a tool, but they don't really enjoy it. And I don't know. They seem to enjoy it with other people that they're not in a relationship with. That's something I've learned over the years. The moment you get cut off, you might as well forget it. Because as one guy I worked with used to say, well, she's not getting it from you, she's getting it from somewhere else. You are no longer the reserve party for said activity. You are now on the sidelines, except you're still paying her bills, you have kids with her, and pretty soon she's going to take half your shit. So why am I no longer a romantic? Well, because I'm a realist. Some people call it a pessimist, but let's be real. I've tried being the romantic guy, the one from the fables who get them jewelry and flowers, and once you get to a certain age, you bring home flowers to a woman, she's gonna ask, what's her name and what did you do wrong? Because they're at a certain point, they're tired of the bullshit too. Like, yeah, that's stuff you do when you're young and you're dumb, and neither party really appreciates it. The guy doesn't appreciate his money being wasted, and the girl really doesn't appreciate what he's putting forth to show his admiration. That's how it goes. Even when you can prove, like, I'm financially secure, this is what you were complaining about in your last relationship. No, like, she'll take your stuff, she'll stick around, but she finds something else that's catching her eye for one reason or another, she's out the door too, with the money. So, does it pay to be a romantic? Hell no. Nope. That's why one of the things I used to tell people, and I'm sure I'll get in trouble for this on YouTube as well, is that it's more important to find somebody you can have a conversation with than it is to find somebody. How many relationships do you know of that are just based on boning? Because there were quite a few couples I knew from the hospital where their story was, we met this night, a few hours later, they had sex, and then they've been together every day ever since. Does it sound like there's a whole lot of talking going on, or just a whole lot of endorphins going on in the brain where they're like, he's hot, she's hot, and then they get it on and they're instantly addicted to each other. They don't even really know anything about each other. So I always recommended be with somebody that you can actually have a conversation with, because when you're 80 and shit's not working like it used to, you better hope that you can sit at that coffee table and have something to talk about, because otherwise your retirement years are going to be pretty freaking boring. But no, that's not what people want to hear, especially women. Women want that story. They want to, oh, how did you meet? And then they tell the story, and it sounds like some stupid ass rom-com. That's been the biggest load of bullshit that Hollywood has put out the last couple decades. Romantic comedies, they have the story. I don't know if that did more damage to society or Sex and the City. That's going to be a future video. I wholeheartedly believe Sex and the City had a good portion of what happened with my first marriage. I'll go into that later. But it does not pay to be Aiden. Doesn't pay to be the romantic. Don Juan, he wasn't getting the ladies because he had flowers and he was nice and a good listener. No. Dude was a stud. He was Chad. Don Juan was a Chad. That's all that was. He was an Amish guy plowing the fields. Just didn't know how to stop. Once he got going, it was gonna keep going until it was done. That was Don Juan. Not an example of a romantic. You want a romantic? Find some guy in his 40s and 50s who feels like he did everything right with the ladies that he had dated over the years, but for some reason they went running off with some asshole. That's the romantic that you're gonna find. And you know what? Even the women his age don't want anything to do with him, because he's not gonna treat them like shit. He's gonna have good credit. He's gonna have his bills paid and a roof over his head. And there's nothing to fix. He's gonna be the boring guy that women don't want to deal with. And even the women who say, like, I just wish I could find a boring guy who doesn't sit on his ass all weekend watching football. They'll leave that guy for the asshole with a good job who spends his weekend watching football, because that's what they're used to. And they don't understand the other guy who sits in the corner reading a book, educating himself, working on improving himself, because for some reason self-improvement and constant self-improvement is frowned upon. He should already have his shit together. Like, why is he reading another book on fill in the blank? Would you rather have him online trying to pick up chicks? He'd stick around longer if he was. So that is why I am not a romantic. Quite frankly, it's a waste of time, energy, effort, and money. And it's not what women are looking for, regardless of what they say. Whenever a woman says, I want to meet a nice guy, some guy who's actually romantic, be the opposite, because that's when she'll come around.